Today we'll be discussing about the recent episode of Sibongile and the Dlaminis. On today's episode, we see Sibongile waking up from bed and she gets panicked because she's too late and didn't study anything, and she calls out Zama, who was also sleeping next to her. Then Sibongile thinks of having shower, and at the meantime Nazele appears there with some girls and taunts Sibongile saying, "You chose boys over our practice." And Sibongile tries to speak, but they keep taunting her. Zama gets up and defends Sibongile and asks Nazele to leave the room, and Nazele leaves with her friends. Then Sibongile thanks Zama for saving her. Scene changed. In this scene, we see Vusi and his siblings planning birthday party for their grandmother, despite they all know their mother won't like this matter, but still they plan to celebrate their grandmother's birthday at the beachside. Vusi gets upset and says, "If it betrays our mother, don't involve me." But Wanzeni tells him not to think it that way. Scene shifts to Mam V and her friends celebrating her winning a car and being on the front page of newspaper. Her friends admire her, celebrate her win. Then they ask what she's going to do with the car that she won. She says she'll give it to her son because he finds difficulty to go to his office every day. Her friends praise for being so selfless and say she actually deserves the win. On the next scene, Kwenzo and Vusi are seen with their father, and Kwenzo regrets about divorcing Nomalanga. He says, "I thought I would be happy after divorcing Nomalanga, but I guess I was wrong." His father apologized to him for forcing him to marry Nomalanga, but Kwenzo thinks it's his fault too, as he was also committed to Nomalanga to spend the rest of his life. Then Vusi and his father console him and tells him not to think all this. Scene changed. Here we see Wanzeni brings her granny to the beachside and surprises her with the birthday celebration elements that they arranged for her. Seeing all this, her granny becomes happy, and Wanzeni says they'll cut the cake when Kwenzo and others arrives. Then she takes her granny to the seaside and they take photos. Scene shifts to Mam V and two other employees criticizing about Wanzeni seeing her social media pictures that she took with her grandma. Meanwhile, Fetheni arrives there, and they show those pictures to Fetheni too. Fetheni jests angry on this, but says nothing but the guest rooms should be cleaned, and leaves. Scene shifts back to Wanzeni and her grandmother seeing the photos they took and enjoying together, and Wanzeni sent the photos to Samki, seeing which she becomes happy. Scene changed. Sibongile comes and sits beside Zama, and she looks upset because her paper didn't go well, and she says she feels like a failure. On this, Zama tried to console her, but Sibongile says, "If I fail, it'll affect me both mentally and academically." But Zama tells her not to go so hard on herself, as failing and passing both are a part of exam. But Sibongile gets disturbed and walks away. Scene changes again. Wanzeni and her grandma is seen besitted on the beach, and unexpectedly Fetheni appears. There at first, Wanzeni gets afraid, but then Fetheni wishes her mother happy birthday and gets her a gift. Seeing this, Wanzeni gets surprised, as she was expecting Fetheni to react negatively, but she didn't. Then Fetheni asks Wanzeni to leave her and her mother alone for a while, and Wanzeni instantly rushes the other side to give them privacy. Scene changed. In the scene, Kwenzo comes to meet Sibongile at her school, and Sibongile apologizes him for cancelling their date and tells him Zama dragged into a party. At first, Kwenzo gets surprised, but then he changes the topic saying, "Well, it's none of my business." Then he tells her that his divorce got finalized, and his grandmother, whom he thought was dead, is apparently still alive. Then they start to talk more about it. But Nazele arrives there and asks Sibongile to get up quickly, saying, "We're getting late for the practice." Sibongile says sorry to Kwenzo and leaves from there, and Kwenzo feels ignored and hurt. Scene shifts back to the beach, and we see Fetheni and her mother talking to each other, and Fetheni angrily asks her mother, "What's your intention with MH Childs?" At this, her mother says she has no evil or bad intention, she loves it. Spend time with her grandchildren as it makes her feel revived, and she wants to spend the last days of Earth with her grandchilds. She also apologized to Fetheni for not being able to save her twin sisters, but says she tried a lot to fill that void but failed. Fetheni gets emotional, and her mother says, "I love you, my child, and also my grandchildren's." Last scene. Here we see Kwenzo's friend Ndile organized a party, and he's flirting around girls. Kwenzo seems upset, and Ndile offers him to pick a girl and have fun. Kwenzo says, "I just divorced my wife, and you're..."